Hello everyone and welcome to this video where we'll be discussing how to verify trig identities. And so in this problem today, we'll be looking at tan y over cosecant y is equal to secant y minus cosine y. So when verifying trig identities, the thing that we're basically doing is making one side equal to the other. And when we first start, we have to solve the side that looks more complicated or looks harder. So in this situation, it's going to be the left-hand side, which is tan y over cosecant y. So what we're going to start by doing is making tan y over cosecant y equal to secant y minus cosine y. So knowing that, we can go ahead and attack this left side over here. So we know that tan y is in the numerator and cosecant y is in the denominator. So we can change tan y to sine y over cosine y. Also, we know that cosecant y is in the denominator, which means we can go ahead and put sine y over cosine y, which is equal to tan y, over 1 over sine y. And basically what we're doing right now is turning tan y and cosecant y into terms of sine y and cosine y to make it easier to solve. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and change it so that we no longer have a denominator, which is sine 1 over sine y. So we can rewrite it as sine y over cosine y times sine y over 1. And the reason we were able to do this is because we are taking the reciprocal of the denominator. Since it is 1 over sine y in the denominator, we're able to flip it or take the reciprocal and do sine y over 1 so that we can go ahead and not have a denominator to deal with. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and just multiply, and we're going to get sine squared y, since sine y times sine y is sine squared y, over cosine y. So next, we can change this to 1 minus cosine squared y over cosine y. And so the reason that we know that sine squared y is equal to 1 minus cosine squared y is because of best friends. So in other words, we can go ahead and look at this trig identity, sine squared y, or x, doesn't really matter, plus cosine squared y equals 1. So this trig identity is very, very, very useful, and I highly recommend that you memorize this equation right here and know how to manipulate it. So because it's sine squared y in the numerator, we know that if we were to subtract cosine squared y from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, we would get sine squared y. So that is why we know that sine squared y is equal to 1 minus cosine squared y. So next, the last thing that we can do is, since it's over a fraction and it's 1 unit, we can do 1 over cosine, 1 over cosine y minus cosine squared y over cosine y. And so the reason we were able to do this is because in the numerator, it was 1 minus cosine y, and we just were basically able to split it up. So now that we have that, we know that 1 over cosine y is equal to secant y. And this is being subtracted from cosine squared y over cosine y, which is the same thing as just 1 cosine y. And there you go. That is how you get to be able to verify this trig identity, since we were able to take the left-hand side and make it equal to the right-hand side. As you can see here, secant y minus cosecant or cosine y is equal to the beginning of our equation.